Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Could you please give us a like on Rumble? So hit the like button. If you're not subscribed. Just to let you know, both my hearing aids. Do you know I said I had a problem with my hearing aids? I've bought this little device, and it's a dehumidifier for hearing aids. Takes the moisture up if you've been sweating or it's raining or anything out of the hearing aids, and it sterilises them at the same time. So I'm seeing if it works. Hit the like button, subscribe, really important, because we're the only people that support England, and that the English, I should say that, no, that side there, right, is literally a bottle of single malt whiskey from the Norfolk Distillers, and it's called the English Distillery. There's another one in Dartmoor, which I'm hoping to taste their single malt whiskey. And just remember what we're about, England, right? We're about the Constitution. We're about the rule of law. No one else appears to be anywhere close to what we actually believe in, which is take England back to full common law jurisdiction, the Constitution of England, which means inalienable rights and rights for the English. And does that protect foreigners? Yeah, it does. And well, we stopped slavery. It was the English that stopped the slavery, not the British. The British wanted to carry on. The absolute madness of this, I'm not actually going to get into the show for another couple of minutes, but I'm going to show you a tweet or an X post or whatever you want to call it from Ben Habib, right? Now, I want everyone to understand this. This is not me having a dig. I'm just telling you the straight. There's no. Listen, I'm not into political correctness, right? Don't forget to share, people. It's Monday night. There's not a lot of people watching at the moment, but we're only just triggering up to 8 o'clock. DD and Patriots, everyone's out there. Sue Ellen, Taffy Pat, Candy Gloss. So just to make sure I'm clear on this, right? Ben Habib describes himself as a British Pakistani. He does not describe himself as English. He's not saying to us that he's indigenous English or that he's culturally English. He's saying he's a British Pakistani, right? And as such, he put out something today, which I'm about to show you, because it's really important, right? And I did actually do a quick reply to him. I'm going to show you this on here, and then I'm going to talk through some other bit, and then we're going to get on to Trump and some other bits and pieces. But I'm not here to tell anyone lies, right? I'm here to tell you the truth, right? So I joined AdvanceUK because he was talking about we're a Christian nation, right? Well, we are a Christian nation. England is a Christian nation. Scotland is a Christian nation. And the English Constitution protects that Christian religion in the form of the Protestant religion. It's really important for people to understand what Ben, not me, what Ben has put out today, right? So bear in mind, I have now emailed, which is up there. I'll show you the email if you want me to again. I've emailed and said, I want a refund. And the reason I said I want the refund is because I was waiting to speak to people. They obviously think, I mean, anything that's being promoted, even on Twitter, bearing in mind Twitter banned me last year, right? And all I do is talk about England and the English Constitution. I'm a constitutionalist, that's it, right? this is what he says. I get asked from time to time if AdvanceUK is sensitive about who can and cannot join the party. Right? This is what he says. If you are a British citizen, so he's telling you you must be British, on the electoral roll and not a member of another political party, right? That's exactly what Reform was doing. Not Reform, UKIP was doing with Nigel Farage, right? He's got a college, right? And a college is another name for an NEC, and it's the NEC that's going to be controlling stuff. Well, the people that are currently on that NEC will not and do not like me, right? Because they are all British. Some of them are wealthy, some of them have degrees, but none of them are English, right? Now, I'm going to show you a couple of other things on there in a couple of seconds, but Twitter have got a number of accounts for AdvanceUK, including AdvanceUK Wales. And I created, which I'm going to show you now, hopefully, if I can find it again. It's gone off. Let me advance. I created, with the help of some of our members, what you can see, let me see, on the screen, touchwood, right? Which is Advanced England, right? AdvanceUK England, English flag. I can't see anything wrong with that at all. Over the weekend, it's got 42 followers. It's not really been promoted anywhere. If anyone wants to come along and jump on that, they can. But Advance England, right? AdvanceUK England, right? England, one Christian nation under God since 927. Our constitution protects our Christian faith, right? But getting back to this, here's the email. Yet again, this is what I've put out on that one. Yet again, a fake political party that states it represents the people, but it does not recognise England as a nation, but it does recognise Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. I have asked for a refund. Regionalisation of England into 9 regions is an EU construct to destroy England. No longer a country, but regions of the UK. No thanks, Ben Habib, right? Now, bearing in mind, the English Constitution Party is the only party that stands for England and English inalienable rights, right? Constitution and common law rights. Hello, this is what I sent to them. You need to give me a refund. I'm not being rude, I'm just telling them straight, right? You stated your party was open to all. It isn't. I am the leader of the English Constitution Party and I am not British. I'm English. Please process my refund. Kind regards, Graham Moore, right? And I've sent that email. I've got a reply and they said, sorry, you've decided to cancel your membership. I'll speak to the processing team and get you refunded as soon as possible, right? Now let's go back to his tweet. So he said there, if you're a British citizen on an electoral roll and not a member of another political party. So if there's anyone out there that's not on the electoral roll, he's not interested in you, right? So the 40% of people who don't vote anymore, who have stopped registering to vote, instead of trying to persuade you to vote, he's just basically said, I'm not interested in you, right? That's just madness, right? When you join, you are endorsing our mission statement and our policies. We are not judging or endorsing you. So they're not interested in you whatsoever. To the pearl-clutching censorious brigade, we do not care what you think of our members. You obviously do, because you don't accept the English, right? And there is a strong argument for English independence, right? So this is where we're getting to. We believe in free speech, except if it's English. If the English speak out, we're not interested. And by the way, it is a human right to make political associations, right? So let's talk about political associations because it's really important, right? Someone on the email, not the email chains, the Twitter chains, has said to me, you know, well, what? So why are you leaving? Why don't you give him a chance? I said, I have. I've emailed, I've texted them, I've sent them messages. No one's answered me, right? They're not interested in the English, right? And I'm going to get on to a particular point in a couple of minutes. They are either brainwashed into believing in Britishness, or they are just another scam party set up, right, by the unionists to protect the union above all else. It doesn't matter what they destroy in the meantime, and that includes England with the regionalisation, and they intend to continue with that. They've already destroyed Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. There are already regions. That is why Scotland has removed its constabularies. It had 7 constabularies. It's been removed. It is now Police Scotland. Northern Ireland is the same. It is now Northern Ireland Police Service, right? It is not the English police service as it used to be, right? There's many things that I can say to you about this. But one of the things I do want to say is that it's the number one human right for self-determination. And the governing union currently is the British. It is the British that are censoring. It's the British Parliament is destroying England. It is people like Ben Habib and others who don't understand the difference between repeal and void, right? Any law. The reason why we're still part of the European Union is because they did not repeal. That they repealed, they did not make void, abolish the European Communities Act of 1972, even though it was unlawful, right? It was ultra vires. It goes against the supremacy clause of the English Bill of Rights. So Ben Habib, who self-declares as a British Pakistani, wouldn't be allowed technically under the English Constitution to stand as a member of Parliament or the House of Lords or a judge or have any position of profit from the Crown. And that comes from the Acts of Settlement of 1701. It was removed by the British Nationality Act of 1948 and 1981. And when it was removed, then you got foreigners in all of our councils, you got foreigners in the Parliament, you got foreigners as judges, foreigners as police constables, and the point being, it was the British Nationality Act as a legal fiction that created that. The same error was made in 1708 and between 1708 and 1711, and Queen Anne stepped in and abolished a similar act that did the same thing because the culture of England was being changed and it concerned everyone. And they was warned in 1690 by a Sir Knight, I think his name was, that would happen. And again, these things are done to crush the English in particular. So just to make sure you're all aware of this, there is something that you can do. You can have an alliance with other political parties, and you can stack. So what they could have done, but again, they've put no thought into this whatsoever. Right? What they could have done is said, AdvanceUK will be an umbrella party, right? So anyone with views that are patriotic, that is about your rights, your customs, you being a nation, whether you be English, Welsh, Scottish, or Northern Irish, we will allow you to be a separate party that's associated with us. And I'll give you an example. I think it was in 1924 or 1927. The Labour Party and the Co-op Party did exactly that. I can't remember exactly what it was called. I've put it out on Twitter, but it may even be on this. Let's see if I can go and find it. It was to one of the replies, right? Someone asked what was going on. It might be that one. And I actually said, well, it's not been on any of them, right? So all I'm doing is explaining it to you. So let me go back to my normal screen, because I've took that off the screen. Was you all seeing that, by the way? So the Co-op political party, which is on the left, the Labour Party, which is obviously on the left, right? They have alliances with people, and then on the ballot it will say Labour Party and Co-op Party, this is our candidate, because you're aligned, right? But you're not aligned with every single policy, but the core elements you're aligned with, right? That's what I thought Ben Habib was doing. And he's not. He's not interested in that, right? He's recreating UKIP. That is an abomination, right? And there is no one out there apart from us, only us, that stands for England, right? So again, I've asked them for a refund, and they've come back to me and said, yeah, we'll process your refund. So if there was anyone else who joined, right, do me a favour, because they will notice this, right? Ask for a refund and say you won't allow people that are English to join your party, right? We're not British, we're English. And if you belong to another political party, you can't, there's no alliance with AdvanceUK, which that's what we thought you was doing, and you're not. So what you do is you send them an email and you cancel your membership and say, I'm English, not British, and I thought you was going to allow alliances of political parties, because you're never going to agree on everything, right? Never. It's impossible. And what the Co-op and the Labour Party did was they come together with that alliance. If I could find it again, I can't find it because it ain't. I took it down for some reason, but otherwise I would have shown you it. But the thing I do want to show you is this, right? Now, I'm just talking as a normal, everyday business person, right? And talking about markets, right? So if you imagine the market, now I've put this in there. People should be sending this to Ben Habib and the college, etc., right? Because they seem to forget this, right? Where's this one come up? Hang on a minute. I think it's this one. I'm not sure which one it is. Office for National Statistics. I think it is this one. If it's not this one, I'll go back to another one. Let's have a look. Does this come down to 8? Where's paragraph 7? No, that's not it. Oh, I'll do. This really annoys me when I get this wrong. Let's go back across here. What is that one? Maybe it's that one. That was, no, that's not it. Let me see if I can actually pull this back in. There it is there. Let's see if I can hopefully get to it this way. 2011. There it is. Right. So I'm now, hopefully, are you all seeing this on your screen? So I've put the link to this, and I've sent the link to the deputy leader, right? To me, it's plainly obvious, right? National identity in England and Wales. The 2011 census introduced a question on national identity for the first time. This was due to an increased interest in national consciousness and demand from people to acknowledge their national identity, right? So they're already so Ben Habib is being told about the national identity. What the British are worried about, right, is what happens, and there's certain things that we can do that would make this very simple, right? National identity is multidimensional. So the 2011 census respondents were allowed to tick more than one national identity. 91% of the population identified at least one UK national identity: English, Welsh, Scottish, Northern Irish, and British, right? The English identity, either on its own or combined with other identities, was the most common identity respondents chose to associate with. At 37.6 million people, 67%, English as a sole identity, not combined with other identities. So nothing else. I'm English, only English, nothing else, right? Was chosen by 32.4 million people, 57% of the population, right? British identity, either on its own or combined with other identities, was a common identity chosen by 16.3 million people, 29%, but 10 million people, 19%, associated themselves with a British identity only. So 19 compared to 57, they are a major minority, right? Ben Habib and the college, right, which is similar to the NEC that UKIP had, are not getting the basic statistics of the population and what we believe, right? If he truly represents the people, he would be acknowledging this, and he's not, right? And don't forget, England's the only country as part of this union that's never had an independent referendum of its own, right? Just think about that. Welsh identity, either on its own or combined with other identities, was chosen by 2.4 million people. Now, isn't it strange that they have got an AdvanceUK Wales, right? Now, the only people that don't talk about England politically at all, ever, right, is the Fabian Society. If you go and have a look, and they're committed Marxists, if you go and have a look, and don't forget Sadiq Khan's an executive member, or was an executive member, Keir Starmer, executive member. If you actually go and have a look at their website, they don't talk about England at all. They talk about Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and then international Fabians. Because they want to destroy it. Karl Marx hated England, right? And the Marxists hated England. And they hated England for the simple reason, and it was a simple reason, of the common law jurisdiction. So I just want everyone to understand that. So do you all get that? Because this video message, stop sharing, is that detail is in there, right? And I told them that I asked for a refund. Let me go back and see if I can see what I said to him. That's me out then. If you're a British citizen on the electoral roll and not a member of another political party, you need to give refunds, as you never made that clear. Yet another British party trying to destroy England. That's all they are, right? So again, I want you to do me a favour, because how this works is when we work together, right? So I want you to send this out. Let me put this out. If you're on Twitter, this is helpful. Retweet that and say, I wouldn't become a member. I want my money back, right? Because they basically lied to people. That's what they've done, is they've lied to people. They're conning people. Occasionally they might talk about England, right? But they're not interested, right? Regionalisation of England. Dominic Cummings is the only person I know who actually stopped the North East becoming a region, right? And he had a campaign because people got behind it. And people like Ben Habib, it's not me calling him a Pakistani, a British Pakistani, it's him, right? He defines himself as a British Pakistani. He does not call himself English. He says, I'm a British Pakistani, right? And under our constitution, and again, the British Nationality Act, which was brought in by the British, that's why people like him and others are now in control of our councils, our judiciary, our police forces. All them people are now in there because of that, right? So there's stages you can go through to do it, right? I can't tweet for a week. Oh dear. What have you been up to? Year-old Wassell, Cecil Rhodes. What? I don't know what that is. The thing about the people who think they are British is why would they want to preserve the British Union Party that's turned a blind eye to the little ones suffering? I agree with you. I consider there is nothing good about the union, nothing at all. But all I'm doing is showing you, and I'm hoping everyone gets it. Don't forget to hit the like button, right? Don't forget to subscribe. And if you are oh, not again. Why has that gone off? I'll have to cut that down. Let me see why that ain't working. Can you all hear me, Stone? I might have to reboot that. Hang on. Let me pull that up. Pain in the arse. Let me have a look. FaceTime, high-day camera. Right, let's boot it. All right. Right, let me bring that up a bit and bring it closer. I don't know why it's doing this. I might have to try and work it out from there. But I'm going to go back to my other, that one there, right? Might be a bit too close. Let me have a look. How's that? Can you all see and hear me again? Give me a 5x5 if you can see and hear me. For some reason, that other one keeps going off, and I ain't got a clue why. I'll have to try it. 5x5DD. Yeah, well, this ain't all rigged up, don't forget yet. So I'm literally doing it. As long as you can see you. Don't forget sharing is caring. Share this as much as you can. Hit it out there. All I'm doing, again, making sure that you all understand it. I'm just telling you the truth, right? And people said, "Oh, you're joining him," blah 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 blah. I didn't like it. I knew that was. I knew. As soon as I joined and started promoting that I joined, he would put a message out saying, "We don't want you," right? That's what Ben Habib has done with that message today, right? He knows that I've joined the party, and he's saying, "We don't want people like you." What he's saying is, not that lot, right? He's saying exactly the same as Richard Tice and Nigel Farage. They are not of us, right? That's what people have to understand. By saying you must be British and you must not be a member of another political party, he's saying not that lot, right? That's what he's saying. Even though we're constitutionalists, right? That's the key element to this. We're constitutionalists. We're English constitutionalists. He's not interested in that. The only people he will listen to on law is his mates and his accountants who have been trained in British universities in law or accountancy. That's the only thing he's ever going to listen to, right? He's no good to no one. So if you've become a member, do what I just did, right? Go back to them and say, I don't want to be, I'm a member of a political party, the English Constitution Party. I'm English, not British, or I'm Scottish, not British, or I'm Welsh, not British. I'm Northern Irish, not British. Give me my money back, right? and all of a sudden, even if only 20 of you do it, right? They'll go, hang on a minute. We've got people walking away from the party because we're not acknowledging the English, right? And don't forget, because I need to show you this, right? just so you don't think I am advance Wales, right? Just so you don't you understand what I'm telling you, right? Here, and I'm showing you on the screen as we speak, Touchwood. There is Advance UK, Our Future Together, Advance UK, Our Future Together, right? UK Wales with a Welsh flag, right? So they're acknowledging that. If I went through it, you'll get others coming up as well, right? And all I'm saying is that these people will talk about anyone but not the English. And anyone out there putting up British flags, don't do it in England, right? I'm only talking to the English. Put up the English flag. It's the English flag that they don't want. It's England that they seek to destroy with regionalisation, which was an EU concept to destroy England. They want regions of the UK, and so do these people. Advance UK wants regions of the UK. It does not want England, right? People need to understand that. So again, if you've become a member, kick it and ask for a refund. That is a very powerful statement, right? And they won't like it. Now, the next thing I want to try and show you. So we're moving on to the next subject. I'm not wasting my time with them people. I've told you all before, right? You will see me do things, but I do things for a reason. That happened with another group of people. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll join your party, right? And we was having a conversation about it in the background with the inner circle, if you want to call it that. Certainly not an NEC, but about another party. And I joined them. I said, I'll join them. I'll see what they got to say. And then they started sending me emails saying, welcome, comrade. And I was like, I'm not your comrade. Don't call me comrade. The Soviets killed 70 million Christians, right? So if Ben Habib is truly a Christian, which I don't think he is, right? He'd have no issue with unless, of course, he's a Catholic, right? So maybe someone should ask him that. Are you a Catholic? Is that why you don't like the English Bill of Rights? Because we rejected the Pope, right? For good reason. So I just want everyone to know that. And again, I don't just do things randomly, believe it or not, right? I do think about, if I join this and then I do this, what are they going to do? And I was thinking to myself, he will put a statement out, right, over the weekend that says something like, not you lot. And that's exactly what he did, right? So they're already having a discussion. And by the way, they know who we are, right? I want you to all be aware of that. They know who we are. And they're making a conscious decision. They want nothing to do with the English Constitution. They will destroy your rights tomorrow, right? That's who these people are. Just to make sure everyone gets that. Ben Habib is a Muslim. He's open about it. Well, he was on a YouTube channel that I watched where he said he was a Christian. I pressed forward 15 seconds and sound is okay now. All right, well done. He is banned from Talk TV and GBU News. So is Rupert Lowe. Well, for me, they're grafting in the background. They have to make it look, right, that they're an alternative. They're not, right? And I want everyone to understand that self-determination is the number one human right. Number one. There is no other right above it. Self-determination. And because they are these groups of people that are trying to keep hold of the control and the power mechanism based in London, right? You start stepping out of the M25 and people will say, I'm English, I'm English, I'm English, I'm English, right? And yet Ben Habib is not even looking at that, right? So We are a threat to the British Soviet Union, Anglo-Saxon. We are a threat to the British Soviet Union. It's exactly what we are. We are the people, groups like us are the people that the Soviet Union would put in the gulag when you went up in front of a judge and you said to them, I'm Russian, I'm not a Soviet, bang, straight in the gulag, right? They will put you in the nut house and say you're a nutter, right? That's what them people always did. Do you remember the swivel-eyed loons comments? If you use anything to do with UKIP, right? So that's what I'm about. I'm not about anything else. Now let me go back to something else, right? And again, people should always remember, right? Remember who and what I am. I am only about England, right? I will guarantee you now, I won't be able to show you this, right? Because this has gone pear-shaped on my screen. Let me have a look. Entire screen. Where would I have to go to? Right, share. I don't want to do that. Cancel tab instead. Entire screen, Brave tab, window. Let's try a window. That's not letting me go for it either. I wonder if that allow me to do it if I go on there. Can you see that? I doubt it. All right, I've got. Oh, God knows what that is. Let me go back to my main screen. Let's get all that off. I've got to try and find this here now. Let's see if it was on there. General. This has gone out everywhere today, and people don't realise how big this is. This is massive, right? They're not playing games. Right? Oh, here it is. Right, I'll bring it up on this. This is General Mike Flynn who's put this out. Right. Let me put this out to you. Let's see if I can share it on here. General Mike Flynn on the screen. Right now, listen to this because it is massive. This is not minor. Right. And could be part of the reason why the Department of State was at first listening to our petition, because it was exported by the British to America to destroy America, right? So this is what Donald Trump has sent out today. The president, right? Greatest president since I don't know who, right? I am going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, right? And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won, who lost the election. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. Actually, you're not, right? The British Union, which is not a country, so technically you're right, uses the same. That's how Sadiq Khan was elected in London, right? And the voting machines. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before. Them levels have been seen in this country. By signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them, for the good of our country, to do. With their horrible radical left policies like open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender and woke for everyone, and so much more, Democrats are virtually unelectable without using this completely disproven mail-in scam. Elections can never be honest with mail-in ballot voting. And everybody, in particular the Democrats, knows this. I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are complete and total disaster must end now! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Remember, without fair and honest elections and strong and powerful borders, you don't have even a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Now, I want to now go back to my main screen and I'm going to read the comments. What did you think of that? Did you all see that on the screen? Has anyone seen that today? Has it been spoke about today? Can you hear anyone else talking about it? That is pretty major. There's some other major things that happened today as well. Right, so I'm asking the audience, what do you think of that? Right, that is going to be coming over here, right? Because they know, right, and they've only started to realise how bad it is because of people like us standing in elections, right? Let me pull that back just a touch, right? Standing in elections and trying to show people what's going on, right? And that's all I'm trying to do today, right? So, did anyone else see that today? If there's anyone out there on Twitter, right, start to tweet Ben Habib and say, like, I was going to become a member. I'm not now, right? If you don't stand up for the English, you're just part of the uni party, right? We're not interested. The primary thing you've got to change his mind on is complete removal of the regionalisation of the UK, right? That means take all the regions out for England, separate Scotland, it's no longer a region, separate Wales, it's no longer a region of the EU, because that's what that was about, right? It's about control, and that's what they're doing. And they're feeding money into them regions to attack England, right? You've got no chance all the time that exists. The second thing is to persuade him, do not use the word repeal. You must void, right? So there are positions that we can get to. There's 4 major things that you need to do to take England back. And you would take Scotland back, Wales back, Northern Ireland back, right? And if he only understood, without any naivety, right, of what needs to be done, right, from people like us telling him, instead of these people, I don't know what they are in that college, right? But they certainly do not understand what is going on. They do not understand how to extract themselves from the European Union, whereas we do legally. I saw it on Truth Social. President Trump is a real leader. EGNR, no, he is. I agree with being a legal nationality to vote, but have an ID, so not want digital to vote. Just kick them all out. It's the best way. No, I agree. I noticed the Lotus Eater people started talking about England today. Yeah. And he basically sent a tweet out and said, don't put out the British flag. You need to put out the English flag in England, the Scottish flag in Scotland, the Welsh flag in Wales, and the Northern Irish flag, hopefully the independence flag in Northern Ireland, right? Because the only option that's never been discussed properly for Northern Ireland or for England is complete independence. And I think it's about time. And they're absolutely having a nightmare. I'll go back. You see what I put up and shows you Section 7 of the 2011 Census, right? They use that information They give Serco, Mears Group, Clear Springs, and one other 4 billion of your money, and supplied them with that money. They give them roughly $1 billion each, and flooded the areas of high English national only national identity to get to bring up the British levels. Right? That's what they did. That I am telling you, that's what they did. And people that put like British Pakistanis, right? Whether his name is Ben, he's the one who calls himself that, not me, right? And I want to emphasize this to everyone. You can be black and English, but you're culturally English, right? And you would need a number of generations by law in this country of being English and marrying English people, or your family, if you're African, if you're Pakistani, or whatever it is. If you've got 4 or 5 generations in England, right, then you could elect to become, you could be elected to become a member of Parliament, House of Lords, police constable, or whatever. How many Mohammeds have you got in the police? I'll tell you what. Someone needs to ask that question. There's probably someone who's asked that. How many Mohammeds are in the British police now? Right, that's illegal. The full name is Benjamin Habib. Ben Yamin. All right. I see Rupert Lowe was praising the British flag next to the Queers flag in Yarmouth. Yeah, well, Rupert Lowe's a bit on the strange side. I don't think he fully. I think he's still trying to protect the Union, and the Union will destroy England, right? The political union of the British is there as a construct to destroy England. Starmer urgently needs a false flag to save his government. Next stage, censorship. Greenbaker, I don't disagree with you. Simon Lacey, me too. Trebenham, daft thing is, if Habib aligned himself with England and the English population, his sweep victory, landslide in election. He don't. That's why I know that. You know that, right? That's why I'm saying I do not believe that Ben is. I believe he is part of the British establishment, whether it's the banking system, whoever it is, I don't know. Let me see if I can find this question for you. Of Labour and co-op. Let's see if this comes up on my screen. This is only I've just put it into Grok to make it easier for people. Oh, there you go. I think it was called the Cheltenham Agreement, right? Let me see if I can just put this out to you so you can see it, because it is important for you to understand this, right? So when people like Ben Habib say they don't want to be involved with any other political party, remember what I talk about, right? And that is, you can agree on 80%, right? And then the 20% you don't agree on, he has to align with the English. If he doesn't, because it's us who's being destroyed, right? But it says it there, right? So I'm going to try and bring it up so you can see it properly on your screen. I'm not sure if you can see that. The alliance between the Labour Party and the Cooperative Party in the United Kingdom was formally established in 1927 through the Cheltenham Agreement. This electoral pact, ratified at Cooperative Congress in Cheltenham in June 1927, ensured that the two parties would not stand candidates against each other in elections and would collaborate to select joint Labour and cooperative candidates. The agreement recognised the independence of both parties while committing them. It recognised the independence of both parties while committing them to work together to maximise the vote for centre-left candidates. Right? It has been updated several times, with the most recent revision in 2003, setting out procedures for candidate selection and local national collaboration. Right? Now, the reason why it is so important that Ben Habib looks at that model is because he's saying, "Oh, we need to come together. We need to do this." But then he is disassociating himself from the English, right? We are by far. I've showed you it. We are by far the biggest group, right? And if you step out of the M25, everyone says I'm English, right? I can't see where I'm wrong. Right? Ben Habib, Sunny Confession on Faith. Are you a Muslim? The Andrew Ebon Show. So, Paul C, I'm going to ask you the question because I ain't got a chance to click on it. Did Ben Habib state that he was a Muslim? Just tell me in the what I don't want to do is say that he's a Muslim when he's not. When he's not, he talked about the Christian religion. Remember, they can never have it about yours PC. Kew Gardens, no problem. BAMS. What's BAMS? BAMS 7. I have been telling them at our local club to take the Union flag down and reinstate the St George's flag after it was taken down because of one complaint. It's so frustrating trying to get through. Yeah, but again, these people have just been brainwashed. Remember what I said about the Soviet Union, and especially Alexander Zelensky. He said to people, he was asked a question, what's your biggest gripe, with post-Soviet era? He said, the people who conflate Russian and Soviet. He said, I am a Russian. I've always been a Russian. Soviet was an artificial construct created by Stalin and the political union. That's exactly what's happened with the British. The British was the first stage of it. People need to understand that. I saw Dynabon earlier, Gunu Mum, he gets seen, but a chat with DD would help. I'll email him tomorrow and see if he can talk with DD. Who's that? Well, Dynabone. He said he was baptised when he got married. Okay. So he started off, I don't know what he is. I've been called a loon today on X for saying Britain isn't a country. Well, everyone should understand the basics. The union is not a country. A political union is not a country. The European Union is not a country. Right? They try to make it into a country, and that's what Ben Habib he keeps bringing up the constitution for, because he wants to create a British constitution, and then all you are is you are not a region. You're a province of the Roman Empire, right? We're not that. We never have been. There's lots of serious mistakes made. You do know in the Quran Jesus is a prophet, and the only entity mentioned in the Quran who will return that shows Jesus is higher than Muhammad. I don't know about higher, but I know that Muhammad understood that Jesus was a prophet. Beat me to it, Graham, reference the EU. And that's it. And that's all people have got to understand. I surf day. That's that'd be good surf. Ancient English. Right. Any other questions about that situation, about what's going on? Has there been any other announcements with the other fellow? Was it Zelensky or whatever his frigging name is? The guy, the Ukrainian geezer, the one who never wears a suit. Agreed, they are slippery buggers. The Guardian thinks Jesus was a tranny. Jesus was a warrior. He was against the Roman Empire, and that's what shocks me with a lot of Christians, that they don't understand the basics of that. There's a great book I've got here. Let me show you this book. Most people will not like this book, right? That's the one I try to get people to go and buy, right? Custodians of the Truth. It is a great read. In fact, I might even start reading that again tonight, or something again tonight. Let's have a look. Juicy and Lucy, we have hardly any rain. It's been raining here today. It's been quite cloudy as well. Zelensky turned up today in a t-shirt. That's just disrespectful, isn't it? Robert Young, I've got it, read it. Rob Young, what did you think of it? Unison, I have read that book. At large, hopefully Cumbrians supply can keep us all going then. I'm going to a council meeting tomorrow, DD, regarding regionalisation. What would your first question be to them? I would ask them, are you aware that regionalisation is a European Union construct to slaughter England, to kill England? And, you know, we don't want regions of the UK. We want England back as a whole. EGNR, that was with Kellogg in his water shirt for Trump. I don't know what that is. Yeah, Jesus, true warrior, just like all you English warriors are now. Yeah, hey, BAM7, blessings, well done for speaking up. No rain in Bedfordshire today. A bit cloudy this morning, DD. Well, it's been raining here. John at large, John Giles. Trouble is, the reservoirs have already support other parts of the country. Let me have a look. Andrew 108. Get the flags. Yeah, we need to get English flags flying everywhere, right? And literally start putting them out. I mean, even if you go around and put them on people's car, only little ones, put them on people's car. Do something where people start saying England rather than the regions. Melania Trump's grandmother was one of two daughters of Tsar Nicholas II, who escaped execution. Putin gifted her a Romanov family ring. She is a Russian princess. You might be right with that. There is something going on with that. BAM7, that is a really unusual gift. And it's like giving her a grandmother's ring. I think things are happening. And I think a lot of people are not going to realise what's... And it is the British causing all this, right? Something's about to happen. ETID, good evening, Paul Sefton. Good evening to everyone out there listening to this. And don't forget, this Saturday, I'll be doing a seminar. I've got my big bag. I've got to go put it back in the car. I've got another bag here. I've got to fill it up with my gear, make sure everything's working. And got to be setting up. So I'll be doing that seminar. If you can put the link to the seminar this Saturday, then I'm going to be doing one in, I don't know when yet, I'm going to be doing one in Essex. I'm also going to be doing one, I'm going to start doing lots of them in this area, right? I don't know, but I need anyone who's watching now to contact me, text me. If you live in Devon, I'm going to start needing some help. And especially central Devon, right? So there's a particular geographic area I need to start talking to people, and I will do it, right? Juicy and Lucy. Graham will be speaking at Rise Above in the flesh, August bank holiday. Tickets available there. That's this Saturday, right? So not bank holiday Monday, but this Saturday. Oh, the other thing is, my sister, twin sister, I spoke to my dad this morning, and she stepped out of her son's house on because he's repairing it, and he's lowered the patio and done some stuff that he's doing some work on it and all that. And she broke her ankle, and then it was all twisted round the other way. And she said, I was on my own. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have anything. And she said, oh, it was agony. I said, what did you do? She went, it was painful, but I twisted it back. And I was like, oh, right. She twisted it back. And she said, then I had to hobble through the house, their house, hobble back to my house. And he said, and then like I was going to call an ambulance. I was in so much pain. But literally, her foot twisted the opposite direction. And then she took a couple of paracetamol. I was like, what? And then it started swelling. I said, you need to put ice on it. But listen to this, right? So she goes to hospital. She said, I just think it's badly sprained. There's nothing really wrong with it. And they've x-rayed it and said, no, it's broke. She said, I can't believe you're not in pain. And I think it was because she put it back straight away. So the body's not in shock because all of the ligaments are trying to pull in different directions, and that's what starts causing a lot of pain. Stormer, I don't know what's going on with this. Stormer wants to give Britain to EU announcement made today, including our nuclear. There's some weird stuff going on. Ancient English, simulation, 50% of soldiers. Let me have a look. Right. Any other questions? It's coming up to 9 o'clock. And let's see what's going on. Gooner Mum, in the free TR days, people wrote it over 5, 10, 20 pound notes, etc. Might be an idea to free our England. Gooner Mum, yeah, that's a good idea. Right, England across the note. Just got a few Hamlin's books. Been reading the Rational Strength of English Law. It's brilliant. I know, tyrants out. Or anything to do with the Hamlin lectures. I highly recommend them. Just to let you know, I mean, literally sitting here, which I'll have to take along to my thing. I've got to remember to take them along. Right, all of these lectures, right? John Laws, who's no mug, the Common Law Constitution, right? Constitutional Fundamentals. So William Wade, he's one of our top scholars, legal scholar. He's dead. Trial by Jury. This is a fantastic read. I was like, really? And there it is, Lord Devlin. These are originals. So Simon. Trial by Jury by the Honourable Sir Patrick Devlin, and again, the origin of the jury, composition of the jury as a judicial tribunal, the control of the jury continued, the decline of the jury and its strength, and then it goes into different things. But it's really fantastic stuff. Right? The Hamlin lectures are probably the greatest resource apart from what I've got behind there. Let me just see if I can bring something else out to you. There's some really good reads. These ones, I'm not sure if I can actually show you that or not. I'll show you this one. I mean, these are originals, right? So this is basically where it talks about the King's Council and rights, etc. But this one in particular was written by Henry Hallam, right? And there's the triple version of it, right? So in other words, there's 3 volumes. The Constitutional History of England from the accession of Henry the VII to the death of George II by Henry Hallam. And then he says in 3 volumes, this is volume number 2, a new edition, and when was it? This one was in 1891, right? And it tells you everything you really want to know. It's old, sort of leather-backed. It's great stuff when you read through it, right? And again, when you start talking to people, so A.V. Dicey learned about the Constitution from reading Hallam's books, right? So when people start talking to me about A.V. Dicey, I said, yeah, well, he actually changed his mind. Let me show you another one. Hang on 2 seconds. Where is it? It's important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be... where is it? That was it, I think. Was that the one? Where's the A.V. Dicey one? A.V. Dicey is really important. I think it's that one. No, it's not. That's the elections one. Well, hang on a minute. Let me find it. Because I want people to know these are the originals. Oh, here, right in front of me. Right. So this one, if you so when they all start talking about Dicey, this is Faults on the Scottish Union, A.V. Dicey and another guy. Right. This is 1920. It's an original from 1920. Right. So just to make sure you understand what I'm saying, Faults on the Union between England and Scotland. Right. Just to make sure you see it again. Faults on the Union between England and Scotland by A.V. Albert Dicey, right, KC, King's Counsel. But he was a scholar, right, and Robert S. Wright, CBE, Macmillan and Co. And then you can see it there, 1920, right? And then when you go and look into this, he starts to tell you what's going on there. So he tells you the second observation, the statesmen of 1707, though giving full sovereign power to Parliament of Great Britain, clearly believed in the possibility of creating an absolutely sovereign legislature which should yet be bound by unalterable laws. And that is what happened, right? And then he tells you, from one point of view, which is clearly realised by the most modern jurists, the attempt to limit absolute sovereign power involves something like a contradiction of ideas. For a true sovereign, whether called emperor, king, or parliament, who can change every law, but also change the very law which limits its authority, the Articles of Union, which make the maintenance of the government, etc., the Church of Scotland. And then he goes in and he tells you case numbers to look at where they've talked about this before. That's why they don't like it, because you're getting this information. But though logically, right? And then he goes in and he says, Parliament, the Act of Union, security of the Church, morally, constitutionally unchangeable, right? So again, it says, goes through certain conditions, and it says it represents the conviction of the Parliament which passed the Act of Union that the Act for securing the Church of Scotland ought to be morally or constitutionally unchangeable, even by the British Parliament. This declaration would morally strengthen the force of the opposition by a large part, right? That's why they can't do certain things. And then when I go right to the back part, it goes through all of these arguments. So the agreement reached on the main principles and incorporating union, freedom of trade, and the Hanoverian succession, right? And it talks about all of this in this book, right? So that is A.V. So A.V. Dicey changed his mind, right? On what because originally he said Parliament can make and break any law, and he didn't. And then there was a recent case in Scotland, not recent, 1953, where they changed it, where it was challenged. It was over there the fact that you couldn't call Queen Elizabeth II because there'd never been Elizabeth I in Scotland, right? And it was challenged, and they acknowledged that Parliament was not sovereign. There were certain constitutional laws that are inalienable. You cannot change them. And it was because of the phrases used, right? So again, people like Ben Habib, yeah, don't get that. He's not of England. He's not of Scotland, right? He doesn't understand the history. The very true SI book, the best. Before accident, I used to read a whole lot of books. Right, let me have a look. That's it. So I am going to say good night, God bless. I'm possibly going to make myself a bit of toast. I might even have an egg sandwich and see if I can chill out a bit. What do you think? That's it. Let me just see if there's any messages from anyone before I fly off of this. And sadly, one of our members from Orpington, Tony, has sadly died. He had cancer and it went through him like really badly and very quickly. But his son contacted me today. It was funny because I was thinking I'm going to ring him up in a minute, and before I rang my dad, funny enough, and then there was a text come through that he had died on Wednesday. So prayers for Tony from Orpington. Let me see if I can. I don't know what's going on now. let's see if I can. Tony Haley from Orpington, who sadly one of our members that passed away. He got cancer and it ripped right through him. But it was too late to do anything. There's certain things that was done in the background, but it was too late. Let me just go and have a look. Khan versus, that's very good. What's it job supposed to satisfaction? Fuck. Is it? Okay. I'm not going to show that. Let me have a look at that one. Oh, look at that. I've just got, someone has just sent me the English flag flying outside their house. I would show that, but I don't know if you want me to show. Oh, I don't think I can because I can't actually. For some reason, I can't show this. I'd have to bring up a separate thing. Let me have a look at this. I'm just looking at the messages. Grammar, Anglo-Saxon. Where can I get an English Constitution Party flag or banner? Someone was selling on our website T-shirts and different things that you could get. But don't forget, we're only a small party, so there ain't much we've got. We've got mega hats. I've got to get some more of them. I've also got some ivermectin here, so I'll be trying to send some of that out. Let me have a look. What we need is a row of ECP flags at the televised process right at the front where the cameras are, under date with our emblem. Yeah, but it's getting the money to sort all that out. But yeah, I do agree. But it's how many people go to it. I mean, I won't be going on the 13th. I think it's wrong to bring people into the if you want to call it the amphitheatre of the Roman Empire. Not a good idea. How is it for these amibus to get the word union is literally the joining of the two or more separate things. QQQQ. Are the British moving out? They're moving everything into Europe. Possibly. Let me have a look and see if there's any other questions. Secret from Ben Habib in Currency's Faith. Okay, I'll look at that. Daz and Claire, QQQ. Can we have a whole show on that book, please? Which one? What book? Paul C. Andy the Cabbie interview Edward Oakenhill opinion. Paul C. Andy the Cabbie interview Oakenhill opinion. I only watched part of it. I wasn't overly impressed. I have been in contact with him. They're British. That's it, right? There's not a lot. The only thing that we can do as a group of people is position ourselves. I mean, there's a few places I would stand. We need our own people to stand, and don't forget we've got no money, so you have to put your own money up. It's a nightmare. But the only people getting funded are ex-British businessmen. They call themselves that. They've just basically used money from the state. John G, DD, I'm 100% behind you. Any possibly you visiting Shrewsbury, Shropshire? How far is that from me for an educational lecture by you? Yeah, no, of course I would. I'll go anywhere, but we have to advertise it as an English Constitution Society seminar. Donations because you have to pay to get there. I may have to stay there. There's costs to it. But I don't particularly want to go to anyone else's events because all they're doing is making money out of the event. And what am I supposed to live on? Fuck all. And many of them people, I've got jobs, etc. in the background. All I do is this. Freedom under the law. Yeah, Mick Scott. What's that one there? Daz and Claire. The Dicey book. Oh, yeah, no. There's a lot of information in that. But he basically says that Scotland should have independence. And he talks a lot about it. Ken Lowe. How do you become a common law constable? When you say a common law constable, you mean Walden Watch, the old way of doing it. You need to get a group of people together. You need to understand the basics of what you can do with a citizen's arrest. And you can carry defensive weapons, right? So you need to tell the police, we're no different to you. You carry your defensive weapons. And all we're doing is defending ourselves if someone attacks us. But we're actually, there is, and we've got to recreate that again. And we also need to recreate the militia, the proper militia, which is the only true way that you'll ever defend England again. Just to make sure you know that. Where are them banners going? See if I can bring. I can't. It won't show this screen unless I bring up. There is a way of me doing it, but I can't use it as an app. I have to load it as something else, which I could do, but it might take me a bit of time to do it. That's it. Never stop, DD. Your inspiration, the English Robbie Yang. Listen, I will never surrender. You might see me do some strange things, but I want you to remember something clearly, right? As part of a strategy, our strategy is the English Constitution, and that's it, right? So it's the English common law and our inalienable rights. We are about England and the common law and the Constitution. That's it, right? We majorly defend disabled rights and pensioners, right? Especially the pensions, the disgusting pensions with the lowest paid pensioners in Europe, right? And all I'm saying to you is, you might see me do certain things that you don't like. Trump will do certain things that everyone's going to be attacking. You'll go, yeah, that's bad. But you've got to go through A, B, C, D. D and E might not be very nice, right? And everyone goes, oh, that's a bit naughty, right? But to get to F, G, H, and all the way through to get to the end point we need to get to, some of them bad things have got to be done. When I say bad things, what I mean is if I join AdvanceUK, right, it's because I'm doing something that I want them to respond and then be telling me in the background what they really are doing, right? And that's what they did. And as soon as I joined AdvanceUK and said AdvanceUK England and started talking about England, Ben Habib sent a tweet out to all these followers. No, right? One, you have to be British. Two, you can't be a member of another political party. You think we're shutting down this political party and trusting a British Pakistani? You got no chance. But as a natural, now if he wanted some form of official allegiance on it, but they all think we're going to be this, we're going to be, you ain't going to be nothing, right? Because you ain't got the backing of the English, and the English are oppressed and suppressed more than any other nation in the country. There is the Union. We are being destroyed. Get your English flags out there. Get rid of the British flag, right? Bring them to the table with the English flag, right? Then they know. Then they get an indication we ain't having it. Ken Lowe, okay. How do you form a militia, and how is it structured? Cheers, Graham. I will be going through some of them things, and we'll be telling people. TMOAP 4,700 watching. What does that mean? English till I dare. Right, that's it. Good night. God bless. I'm off. I'm going to have a bit of toast or something because I'm hungry. Bye-bye. And don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution, and it is. Who are they? Let's see if I can put that up. OIP, the Green Man OIP. Don't know what that is. I think I typed it in by mistake. Right, that's it. I'm off. Au revoir. Tiddly-poo.